Good evening. Well, good afternoon, everybody. Hope you are well. Welcome to this live lesson. I'm Greg from English with Greg, if you are new here. And in this lesson, we're going to look at the 20% of English grammar that you need to master. So, I see we have a lot of people who are very, very punctual, who are here already. Nice to see you. Let me know where you are watching from. It's always good to see your comments, to see where you are watching from, where in the world. And yeah, I'm looking forward to this. This is going to be good. So let me start. I wonder, actually, I just want to check that the chat is working. So if you could write something in the chat, that would be superb. Because this is going to be quite interactive today. I have lots of questions for you. So hopefully, hopefully the chat is working. Let me check. Okay. If not, I have an option B. So let me just look for my option B because the chat is not behaving as it should. Okay. Bear with me, if you would be so kind. Lots and lots of comments, but I can't put them on stage, unfortunately, them on the screen. I think I know why, but there's nothing I can do about it now, sadly. So I will have to use option B, where I just look at the comments in a different window. I tell you what, I'll put it on my phone. That will work even better. Okay, so the 20% of English grammar that you need to master. The idea of this came from this principle, which is wait, there you go, the 80-20 principle. Who is familiar with the 80-20 principle? Pop it in the chat, and I don't like being on my phone. I'm just reading the comments here. Okay. So let me know if you are familiar with this 80-20 principle. It's quite fascinating. It basically is that, and it applies to lots of things in life. For example, like 80% of the money in the world belongs to 20% of the people. Or, for example, 80% of the views on YouTube are from 20% of the channels on YouTube. But it applies to many, many different aspects of life, and it made me think, actually, what is the 20% of English that will enable you to say 80% of what you want or what you need to say? And I thought about it, and basically the answer is really the B2 level. Okay? I'm not sure if you are familiar B2 level of English. If you are, um, let me know in the chat. If you're not, also let me know. Just say yes or no, or B2 thumbs up, B2 thumbs down. Let me know if you are familiar with this, because it's a European reference for a level of language. But it's a really good level to have. And okay, I'm just looking here. Yeah, we have a lot of people who do know this level. Wow, we have lots of people from around the world watching here. USA, Moldova, Romania, Africa, Ghana, Germany. Wow, lots of people. London. Hello. All right. Okay. The B2 level then is kind of the 20 80/20 of English. If you have the B2 level, I'll explain what it is basically and why you should have this B2 level. In terms of speaking, what you want what it enables you to do is to interact with native speakers with a certain degree of fluency and spontaneity, like spontaneous. So you don't have to stop and think and translate and then speak. No, you hear, you reply. You hear, you reply. Okay, spontaneous. It enables you to act part in conversations on familiar topics. So if there are a group of people talking about everyday topics, work, personal topics, then you can take an active part in that conversation. You can present your opinion, you can defend your opinion. It also allows you to give a clear, detailed description on a very wide range of subjects, not just work, home, shopping, but yeah, wide range. And it enables you to explain a viewpoint on a topical issue. So talking about things that are happening in the world right now, and give your advantages and disadvantages of various options. Okay, so it's pretty good level to have in spoken English. And in listening, it also enables you to understand the main ideas of extended speech. So not just one sentence or two, but things like lectures, okay, where you're listening for half an hour, 1 hour, or discussions on topics that you are familiar with and topics that you are unfamiliar with. Uh, you can follow TV, the news, current affairs, like things that are happening now in the world without too much effort, and understand most films where the language is standard and clear. Okay, so it's a really good level to have. Yeah, put your hands up in the chat, even though I can't see it. But give a thumbs up in the chat if you would like that B2 level, um, because it is a fantastic level to have. Okay, and that is what we're going to base this lesson on today. And basically, it reminded me of Brilliant B2, which is my B2 course. And it reminded me a bit because when I was planning this course with another teacher, when we started planning the curriculum 2 years ago, we had to think, okay, what is the essential, like the 20%? What is the key grammar that we need to put in this course? Because we can't just put all the grammar in English in this course. It's a 12-week course, and we had to be really, really intentional with the grammar that we included so that people could reach that level of English. So, we did the hard work. We found the 20%, and today, what we're going to do is I'm going to show you, and we're going to look at these grammar topics that you need to master to have that B2 level of English. So we're gonna first, it's gonna be 3 parts to each section. I'm going to introduce the grammar topic. I'm going to uh, give a quick explanation of that grammar, and then we're gonna have some interactive questions where I give you some questions for you to answer. And now I can see the chat here now, so that is a little bit better than before. Okay. As I said, the only problem is I can't put your messages on screen. Never mind, I can still read them, and that's the important thing. Okay, before we start, the Brilliant B2 course that I mentioned is on sale this week. Let me just give you a quick introduction about that before we start with the grammar from that course. Okay, so this is what you get this week if you join before Sunday, and I have a special code for people watching this live lesson now. I will share that with you in a minute. The Brilliant B2 course gives you the level that you need to be able to do everything that I mentioned before. Um, if you join this week, you get a load of cool bonuses. You get a 50% discount from the normal price. You get a B2 study planner, which is brand new. I've never offered that before, but this is a 12-week course, and lots of people think it's great, but I want to take more time. I want to go slow. I want to do it in 24 weeks or 36 weeks, and that's absolutely fine. When you join the course, you have lifetime access. But this study planner will make it very, very easy for you to follow a specific plan that tells you exactly what to do on each day if you want to go fast, medium, or slow, so that you can stay regular, stay consistent, stay motivated, and finish the course. That's a really valuable added addition to the course. You're also gonna get the expansion pack, which gives you extra details so you can develop your reading, writing, listening, and speaking skills. Every module has extra material in this promo. You also get teacher support for 1 year. So normally this is an extra. Sometimes I offer it for 6 months, but if you join this week, you get a full year. So you can go slow if you want. You can start after the summer, and any problems you have, you can ask a teacher and get their answers very quickly. You also get speaking practice, unlimited speaking practice. You get 1 month free inside the Teacher AI app, where I'm a clone. You can practice with the AI version of me, and you can practice your speaking and get corrections, and it's fantastic. It's really like you're having a conversation with me on that app, but it's fantastic to actually practice the speaking or practice via speaking what you learn inside the course. So you get 1 free month of that, and then the final bonus is limited to the first 10 students who sign up today, and this is a speaking diagnosis from me. So basically, what that means is that you send me a message via audio, and I will give you a message via audio in which I analyze your spoken English, analyze your mistakes and pronunciation, and tell you which areas you should improve. One more thing, you get a 90-day money back guarantee. Normally it's 30 days, but it's hot, it's sunny, it's summer. I know maybe you want to buy it now and start next month or in 2 months. Maybe you want to go slow over the summer. That's fine. You have 90 days to try it, see if you like it. If you don't, or if the level is not right, let me know and I will send you all your money back. Okay, right. So just before we start, this is normally 199 euros, but if you buy it this week before Sunday, you'll get 149. That is 50 euros less, plus all those bonuses and an extra discount. As I mentioned, if you are watching this today, enter the discount code B2 YouTube. You will get an extra discount on the price. Okay. If you don't want to spend 149 right now, you can also spend 55 now, 55 next month, and 55 the month after that. Okay. If you wanna join, there is a link in the description. It ends on the 22nd of June. That is Sunday. So be quick, especially if you want that bonus of my personal speaking feedback. All right, let's go with today's topic, where I need you to participate. All right, I can see your chats now, your messages. So let's start with this, the 12 topics that you need to master to actually have that level of English. Number 1, I'm gonna go fairly quickly because there are 12 topics, so as I said, I'll give you a quick explanation, look at some comments and, answers, and then move on. So, the first topic is modal verbs, like must, may, might, could, and can't. How do you feel about using modal verbs? Let me know in the, uh, let me know in the comments. They often cause problems and confusions for people, but they're very good in if you want to speculate, if you want to say what you think happens is happening now or did happen in the past. So it's a really useful way to express yourself. The common mistake with this is that students often put the word to after the modal verb. Like, I must to go. No. I can to play. No. We do not need that. And basically, the main thing is really that we use must to express that something is almost definitely true. Like, wow, his English is perfect. He must be English. He must be from England. May, might, could, these are all used for things that we think are possibly true. Okay, you know, that person is wearing a T-shirt, and shorts. I don't know why, but it may be hot. It might be hot. That's not a great example because he's probably yeah, whatever. But when we're not sure about something, he may be hot. She might be home. She might be there. She could be there, but I'm not sure. And then finally, when we think that something is probably not true, we use can't. Can't. So again, let's imagine that person, I see a picture of a person wearing a T-shirt and shorts, and you say, "What season is it? Spring, summer, autumn, or winter?" And I say, "Well, it can't be winter because he's wearing a T-shirt and shorts." Okay, so I'm almost sure that something is false. Something is not true. In those situations, we use can't. All right, first question for you today. Which one of these is correct? A, B, or C? Put your letters, letter A, letter B, letter C, in the chat. Which one of these three sentences is correct? She must to be tired. She must be tired, or she can be tired. And while you put your answers there, I'm gonna have a drink. All right. Christos Bacco thinks it's B. Francisc thinks it's B. Juan Jose Alcazar thinks it's B also. And Thomas thinks it's B and C. B and C. Okay, so the winner so far is B and C. Olga says B. Welkin says C. Francisco says B. And Caleb says, oh, I think Francisco's changed his mind. And Caleb, B. Okay, mostly B is coming through with a few who think it might be C. It might be C. Modal verb. Okay, possibly might be true. Might be C. Okay, the correct answer is B. All right. Why? She must to be tired? No, we don't want to. That's a super, super common mistake. Never use to with modal verbs. She must be tired. Yep. Okay. Perfect. I see her. She's yawning. Her eyes are. I think she must be tired. Perfect. She can be tired. No. This is again a really common mistake because if we think that something is 90% not true, we say can't. Yeah, she can't be tired. But the opposite, we don't say can, we say must. Okay? She can be tired. Relates to ability. Okay? Yeah, she can play the guitar, she can run, she can be tired, it's possible, yeah. But we're not talking about probability when we use that. Okay, cool. All right, one more, from this section. Rewrite this. Okay, so write this correctly using a modal verb. This is correct. I'm sure she's not hungry, but write it using a modal verb. Like can, may, might, must, can't. Okay, doesn't matter if you are wrong. In fact, you should write it. You should make mistakes. I have a video about that. Write it using a mistake. Much better than writing it perfectly. If you make a mistake, you learn from the mistake. If you write it perfectly, you learn nothing. Okay, so Roman or Roman said she might be hungry. Carlos says she might be hungry. Juan Jose says, um, I must, she is not hungry. Ivan, she can't be hungry. Olga, she might have been eating at home. Wow, we have a big variety here. She can't be hungry, says Tomas. She might has been eaten at home, and she may be hungry. Okay, cool. Lots of, wow, do we have 2 that are the same? Yeah, we do. We have 3 people who've got it right, actually. So, she's not hungry. This is a negative thing, okay? It's a negative. She is hungry, she's not hungry, okay? So I'm telling you that I'm I'm sure that something is not true, okay? 'Cause she's hungry, that's true. She's not hungry, not true. I'm sure. So when we do this, we need can't, okay? In this situation, we don't need to say, "I'm sure." That's obvious, okay? Simply, she can't be hungry, okay? She can't be hungry. That's what we use when we are almost sure that something is not true. There are a couple of a couple of things here. Let me just try to um, put them on screen. I'm going to write them on screen because they're interesting to learn more. I have to copy and paste here, but let me put down here what 2 people have written. Um, okay, right. Look at this. Look at this. She must has been eaten at home. Okay, or somebody put she must has something else. She must has. When we're using modal verbs in the past, always want, always have. Okay, I, you, he, she, and it. They all have. Okay? She must have, I must have, you must have, they must have. Have, not has. After, must, may, might, can't. Okay, one more mistake here because it's not eating. Sorry, she must have been eaten. That yeah, that's something different. That means it's something like a dragon is actually eating you. Um, so we don't need been, just correct version is this. She must have eaten at home, unless a dragon came and ate. All right, cool. There we go. Modal verbs. Uh, they're not too bad, you know? They're not too bad. Once you learn a few simple rules, they are not the worst in the world. Okay, second one then. The second topic is the past simple versus the present perfect, which is a massive headache for many students, particularly if you don't have those 2 tenses in your language. That's the main problem. Knowing when to use one, the past simple, and when to use the other, present perfect. Past simple is things like I ate. Yeah, I ate pasta today for lunch. The present perfect is I have eaten. Okay, I have eaten, I have taken, I have gone. Right. When do we use each one then? I mean, very, very simply, we use the past simple, and it's useful to think of which time period you are talking about when you use the tense. So if you're talking about a finished action, completely finished in the past, or if you're talking about an action that happened in a time period that is in the past, like yesterday, last week, last month, when I was younger, when I was a kid. These are all moments that are completely in the past and finished. In those situations, we use the past simple. Okay? I went, I ate, I played, I took. Yesterday, sorry, this morning, all right, this morning was finished. This morning, I went to the post office. I collected a package. Right, present perfect. I have eaten, I have taken. This, we use this for time periods that have not finished. So when we're talking about an action that happened in a time period like today, because today hasn't finished. It's today now. This week, this month, this year, in my life. If you use the word ever, that basically means in my life. So use the word ever, we use the present perfect. Okay, today I have done many things. Today I have had 2 cups of tea. Okay, there you go. We're talking about what happened, but in this time period that hasn't finished. So maybe later I will have another cup of tea and another cup of tea. Okay, that is the basic explanation of when we use these 2 tenses. Uh, so fix this mistake. Did you ever visit Japan? Write your answers in the chat box. And while you do, I will answer a question from Rav. He said, "Why do most English native speakers say um, eat in the past, ate, like the number 8, but why do I say ate?" Good question. But I don't agree. Most native speakers say ate. Okay, ate is a yesterday I ate a piece of cake. It's who I think of when I when I hear this, I think of the Queen of England. Um, yeah, that's who I think of. So maybe that explains why. Maybe it's a very, 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 very posh way of saying it, a very high class way of saying it. I'm not high class, sorry. Um, but maybe that's the way that also that people teach it sometimes. But in normal everyday English, you will hear "et" much, 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 much more than okay, answers to this. Did you ever visit Japan? Let's see. Jonathan, have you ever visited Japan? Tomas, have you ever visited Japan? Roman, Olga, Ivan, Ina, Faisal, um, Welkin, and Elisa have also answered. And lots of you are getting the correct answer. Okay. The correct answer is, yeah, have you ever visited Japan? Why? Because we're using the word ever, which refers to your life, the period of your life, in your life. Your life has not finished. So we need to say, have you ever visited Japan? Have you ever visited Japan? Now, um, we're doing this because obviously because you are alive. But if we're talking about somebody who is dead, who died, you could say, did he ever visit Japan? Because his life is no longer, he's not alive. He died, so his life has finished. So we can use did in the past simple with ever, but only if that person's life is no more. Okay, but normally when we're saying using this expression, have you ever? Yeah, when we're talking about things that you have done in your life, we use the present perfect. Okay, one more from this. I to the post office this morning. Okay, I used this as an example a few minutes ago. So let me know your answers in the chat. Um, and while you do, I will answer a question from Emery. Um, will this stay on the channel? Because you want to watch it again. It will stay on the channel for 1 week, and then I will delete it. Okay. Okay, so let's see. Olga says, "I went to the post office this morning." So does Jonathan and Faisal and Roman and Christoph. Great. Yeah, I went to the post office this morning. We have another couple of examples that people have written. I nipped, said one person. I headed, said another person. All great. A nip is like a yeah, cheeky little way. I went very quickly and nipped to the post office. Or I headed, informal way of saying I went. Great, but the important thing is they use the past simple. Popped is another one. Yeah, I popped to the post office this morning. Love it. These are great words. Popped is just such a brilliant word to use in English. Very British, and it means I went or I put. Okay? So pop means to put or to go. Pop it on the table, or I popped to the shops this morning. Okay, Jonathan Torres says my R, R is very good in Spanish. Thank you. Thank you, senor. All right. Okay. Second conditional is number 3. You need the second conditional to talk about wishes, hypothetical situations, alternative realities. It really is the It's one of I think it's probably maybe the most important bit of grammar if you want to take your English from just very basic to actually interesting, because you can imagine different alternatives. For example, okay, we form this like this: if plus past simple plus would plus the verb. If past simple. If it was. No, bad example. If I had if I had a boat, I would sail tomorrow, okay? I would go sailing on the lake. Or if I had a lot of money, I would buy a boat. There you go. So, we're imagining. I don't have a lot of money. We're imagining. If we're dreaming. Okay, this is a bit of grammar that is very, very, commonly confused. Many students have difficulties with this. It's not really too complicated, though. It's very the structure is very simple. If past simple, and then would with the verb. So, let's have a look at this. Which sentence is correct? If I would have a car, I would drive, or if I had a car, I'd drive. Yeah, not A, B, or C, just A or B. Which one is correct? Yeah, Foycel says C, maybe not. Yeah, another good example here, from Mitesh. If I had wings, I would fly. Cool. Okay, I think everybody here is saying B. If I had a car, I'd drive. Okay, yeah, I'd when we're speaking normally, we almost always use the contraction "I'd" and not "I would." Okay, and that is the correct answer. B, you have no idea how much I hear native speakers saying A. Incredible. Native speakers make this mistake. I would have a car, I would drive. Yeah, it's really one of the mistakes that native speakers make the most is with this. Um, but yeah, as a student once told me, this is a good way to think. If I would if I would, no good, okay? If I would is no good. If I would is no good. It's just a lovely little rhyme, a lovely little expression that rhymes. If I would is no good. That helps you remember that if you are starting a sentence with "if I would," you know it's wrong. Okay, one more. If she taller, she'd be a model. Your answers in the chat. I love this. I love the interactive lessons like this. Um, right then. If she I mean, we don't have too many options, right? Will be, would be, is, was, would be, were, had been. Okay, so the answers are Jonathan was, Boysa were, Juan Jose were. Okay, was or were. Okay, so some people are saying was, some people are saying were, and some people are saying was or were. Okay. Um, yeah, so this is interesting because in like official rules of English, it should be were, but in normal everyday English, if you just listen to native speakers, you will hear a lot of people saying "was," and so much that it's actually quite acceptable nowadays. If she was taller, she'd be a model. The cool thing is, um, I think particularly for people like me from the north of England, when we're speaking quickly, we pronounce "was" like this, "w," and we pronounce "were" like this, "w." So if you were taller, yeah, the same. Yeah, phonetically, it's the same. If you were taller, "w, w, w." But yeah, my advice is say "was" or "were," doesn't really matter. But if you have a formal exam or if you are writing a formal thing, then use "were." Okay, right. Cool, that's 3. Man, we've got lots to do. The 4th thing is the passive voice. Okay, passive voice. So, basically, the passive voice are things like this. Instead of my friend delivered the letter, we say that's the active voice because we say who does the action. Active. Okay, my friend delivered the letter. But the passive voice is where we put the importance on the letter. The letter goes at the beginning of the sentence, and we say the letter was delivered. You can say by my friend if you want, but it's not important. We use the passive voice when we don't know who did the action, we don't care who did the action, or it's obvious who did the action. It's obvious. Right. Um, so here's a question for you. Well, to form it, we just put the object first, the letter, then the verb to be. We have to change the verb to be. Okay, so it could be am, is, was, will be, had been, etc. And then the past participle, like taken, spoken, eaten. Okay, so your turn. This is the active version. They'll finish the project next week. Okay, they're the people who are doing this action. They will finish the project next week. So they will finish the project. The project at the beginning. Okay, always the most important thing at the beginning of a sentence in English. Um, and put this in the passive. Okay. So somebody, I can't. I wish I could pronounce your name, but I can't. The takeaway wasn't delivered. Oh, sorry, that's a different example. Uh, okay, but it's a good version of the good example of the passive. The takeaway wasn't delivered on time. Okay, Faisal said the project will be finished next week. Jonathan, the project will be finished next week. Olga, Juan Jose, Christos, um, and others say the same. The project will be finished next week. Perfect. Okay, the project, we put the important thing at the beginning, the project, then we use the verb to be in the correct thing. Here we're talking about they will, so we need to use the same thing. They will, the project will be, and then the past participle finished, blah, 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 and the rest of the sentence. Okay, one more. The dinner is right. A, B, or C? Which is correct? The dinner is being prepared. The dinner will be prepared, or the dinner is prepared. A, B, or C? Let me know in the chat. Wow. Okay, Emery says B. Voice L C. Juan Jose A, Mika C, Polish version of Gregory B. Wow. Okay. Olga B, Christos C. C, Welcome Cat C, A. Wow, nobody seems quite sure here. C, B and C, says Roman. A, B. Oh, man. Let me tell you, nobody has put the right answer in the chat yet. Thomas, bingo. They're all correct. They're all correct. Okay, so if I say the dinner is being prepared, this means that the person doing the action is preparing the dinner now. Okay, I can say the dinner is being prepared. That's fine. That's the passive in the present continuous tense. The dinner will be prepared. Perfect. Like the project will be finished. Yeah, the dinner will be prepared. That's the passive in the future. And the dinner is prepared. Just yeah, here it's not really the passive. We're just using prepared as an adjective. Like dinner is ready. Dinner is prepared. Um, or yeah, maybe we could use it as a passive. Like dinner is prepared every night by my wife. Okay, for things that happen regularly. Okay, so yeah, you can use the passive in almost all the tenses. Almost all the tenses, not all of them. But you can. All you have to do is change the verb to be. All right, cool. Um, the next one is relative clauses. I don't like expressions like relative clauses. It sounds ugh. Um, when I say relative clauses, I mean words like this. Okay, who, which, that, where, whose, when. These little words that connect parts of a sentence together so that you can make longer sentences and give essential information and to give extra information. Again, this is really cool for the B2 level of English, because when you have the B2 level, you want to be interesting, have interesting conversations and tell stories. Yeah, so it's really good to connect different parts of the sentence together. There is a lot to say about this. A lot. I have a video. I'm doing a video on this in, I don't know when, next month, maybe or July or August, I think, um, in which I talk a bit about this in more detail. Ordered it, but it's not ready for, uh, to be published yet. So, but it's a big, big topic and one that you need to master really to be able to have this B2 level. So let's go. Let's just have a look at some examples here. And we'll use one of these words, okay? Who, which, that, where, whose, or when. So we want to use one of those words. In fact, can I, yeah, copy those and put them in here. Just a second. See if I can just add them to that. There we go. So the girl who won the prize, sorry, the girl won the prize is only 12. Who, which, that, where, whose, and when. I'm sure you've no idea now. No idea. I honestly, I have some like mental problem where I cannot ask the question, what is the capital of France? Every time I say that sentence, I always say, "What's the capital of Paris?" Ah, and I did it here. Okay, so surprise, surprise, a lot of people got this right. Ooh, 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 ooh. Yes. Okay. But there are some interesting answers here, and an interesting question. Okay, so Thomas asked the question, Thomas says, "Who or that? The girl who won the prize or the girl that won the prize?" And that is correct. Yeah. A lot of people in the comments wrote "who." That's perfect. But, yeah, you can use "who" for people, and we can use "that" for people and objects and animals. Okay? So they're both fine. Um, the rest are not. But "who" or "that" are fine. It couldn't be "whose." "Whose" relates to possession. Okay? So, I could say, um, let's imagine the girl won the prize for the biggest pumpkin. Okay? I thought of that, but she had the biggest pumpkin. The girl whose pumpkin was 1 meter tall won the prize. So here we're talking about possession. Okay, so the pumpkin belonged to the girl. So the girl whose pumpkin, okay, the girl, her pumpkin was 1 meter tall. The girl whose pumpkin was 1 meter tall won the prize. Okay. And then there was one more question, which is very interesting from Luis A. Luis A. He says, "Sometimes I get stuck with those words because I don't know when they can be omitted." Because, yes, sometimes we don't need these words. Um, yeah, again, it's a big topic. I mention it all in, both in the course, Brilliant B2, and in the video that I'm gonna publish about this, because it really depends on which of these words you're using. In this particular situation, we cannot omit "who." Okay? The girl won the prize is only 12? No, it has to be the girl who won the prize is only 12. One more question then. Um, what's the difference? The book that I read was great, or the book which I read was great. What's the difference between these 2 sentences? This is difficult, but don't hesitate to write in the comments. As I said, even if you don't know, just say, "No idea." Okay. Um, so somebody mentions, the word "which" here. How do we use "which"? This is a good explanation. This sentence is a really good way to explain the answer to that. So I will tell you that. Right. Okay. Some interesting answers here. Let me tell you, when we're using these relative pronouns, we use them for 2 different reasons. One is to give essential information, and the other way is to give just extra information. So in this situation, in this sentence, it's essential. Because if I say to you, "The girl is only 12," you think, "Which girl? Which seriously, which girl is Greg talking about? The girl who won the prize is only 12." Okay, now you know. It's essential information. If not, my sentence doesn't really make sense. Okay, so that's essential information. Non-essential information is extra information, like B here. The book, if I say the book was great, okay? Well, yeah, this isn't the best example. Let's use another example for non-essential information. My friend who lives in Germany is coming to visit next week. So I could say, my friend is coming to visit next week. Perfect sentence. Interesting. You know exactly the important information of that sentence. But if I say, my friend who lives in Germany is coming to visit next week, then I'm adding that extra information. Who lives in Germany? Okay? And that is non-essential information. That's when we use, um, well, in the case of which, we can use which here, like the book which I read was great. That's fine. Or the book, comma, which I read, comma, was great. And when we write it with a comma. When we speak with a little pause. The book, which I read, was great. Okay, so the difference between these two are basically the emphasis that I'm putting on the sentence. The book that I read was great, option A. This is I'm talking specifically about the book that I read, okay? It was great. Sentence number B, I'm just talking about the book, which I read, by the way, okay? A little bit of extra information, not essential, but the book was great. So, small difference, but it's important, maybe not so important in this particular example, but it's a very important difference to know when you want to be more specific about things when you're speaking in English. All right, here we go. Number 6 is reported speech. All right, reported, and I was gonna do this video for 1 hour-ish, and we're halfway through. I don't know whether to continue or to stop and do the other 6 on Sunday. Have some free time. I could continue on Sunday. I don't know. Let me know what you want. Okay, number 6 is reported speech. Crucial to have that B2 level. Why? We always talk about this. We always talk about what somebody told us, conversations that we had. Always. Uh, so it's really, really important to be able to do this and to do this accurately in English if you want to really express yourself in a clear way and explain what happened in previous conversations. All right. Um, okay, Alain says continue. Roman says Sunday. Emery, continue. Elisa has to go. Yeah, this is going to be long. Okay, maybe I'll continue on Sunday. Maybe I'll see. Um, okay, so reported speech. Yeah, so this is basically instead of saying um, Jonathan said, "I'm coming to visit." Hey, imagine I'm speaking to my friend Jonathan. He says, "Greg, I'm coming to visit." Fantastic. And then I say to my wife, "Hey, I spoke to Jonathan, and he said," so he says, "I'm coming," because I said, "He said I'm coming," and talking about me. No, he said that he was coming. We need to do 2 things with reported speech. We have to change the person. So he said that he, and then change the tense. Okay, this is called back shifting in English grammar jargon, but it basically means back, okay, back shifting. You put the tense back 1. So instead of the present simple, you go back 1 to the past simple. Instead of the past simple, you go back to the past perfect. Instead of the future will, you go back to would. Okay, so Jonathan said, "I am coming." Hey, my wife, no, said to my wife, I said, "Hey, Jonathan said he was coming to visit." Okay, that's what you need to do for, reported speech. Okay. Hello, Nicola, nice to see you again, who's just arrived, and Milan, uh, great to see you. Here's a couple of my students. Always great to see my students here. Okay, reported speech questions. All right then, your turn. He said, "I'm tired." Okay, what do we do here? I'm giving you the first word, he. Okay, so let's put this into reported speech. He said, "I'm tired." And then I'm talking to you afterwards, and I say, "Hey, you know what? He what?" Okay. Um, while I wait for a few more answers to come, Roshan says he wants a passive voice video. Good news. I recorded one last week, and again, that will be published, um, in I don't know, July or August. Um, okay, questions, answers, I mean. All right, Olga, he said he was tired. Christos, he said that he was tired. Okay. Um, Valen, he said that he's tired. Okay, so he is. Um, okay, cool. So, yeah, a lot of different ans a lot well, not a lot of different answers, but a lot of 2 answers, a lot of 2 different answers. The correct answer is he said, and then we can use the word that, but we don't need to. So he said that, or just he said, and then he was tired. Okay, because we're making sure that the person that we're talking about is the right person. He said that he, um, and then instead of I am, put it back one tense. I am, I was. Okay, or he is, he was. He said that he was tired is the correct answer. And one more here. We have finished. They. So what we're gonna say here, because when a group of people say we, right? Lots of people there, and they say, "Oh, we have finished." Then I'm telling you what they said. Okay, so we need to change we to they. That's one first thing. Always change the person and change the tense. Um, yeah. Okay. Cool. So they have finished. They said they had 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 finished. Okay. They had finished. Ina says they have finished. Um, Isabel says they said that they had finished. Mhm. Okay, cool. They said they had finished. All right, great. Most people have got this right. And as I said before, we can use the word that. Yeah, they said that they had finished, or we can delete the word that. It doesn't make any difference. Okay, they said they had finished. And that's that. Okay, cool. All right. Um, just for people coming a little bit late, I will mention this 20%. What we're doing here, we're going through the grammar that I included in my B2 course, okay, called Brilliant B2, which is on sale this week. And in each, in fact, can I? Let me see here. Maybe I can actually do something here. Um, let's see. This might be a disaster. There. Okay. Ah, no, there you go. Okay, this is inside the Brilliant B2 course. Okay. So where are we now? We've done module 1, uh, down to 6 so far. So basically in this course, you have an introduction, every module, where I talk about what you're gonna learn. You have a grammar module. That's what we've been looking at mainly today. Um, so this is like about a 15-minute video. We go really in depth in the grammar topic, and then you have some quizzes. Okay, so lots of questions to help your understanding. One, 2, 3. We also do pronunciation in the course. Yeah, yeah, lots and lots. Modules. We have 12 modules, 12 pronunciation topics in the course, and the vocabulary is actually taught in a really, really effective way. Like, I always think that vocabulary is usually taught in such a ineffective, boring, like, memory way, but, um, but not in this course. Sorry, we have shadowing here to practice the pronunciation, so you can actually listen and practice what I teach you. So we learn vocabulary by watching oh, scary. Yeah, by watching a video on, on the topic of the week. Each topic has, a topic of B2, um, level, like a topic that will, like crime and punishment in this case. So we watch the video, then you answer some questions about the video, and then you have another video from me in which I teach you the vocabulary from the video. Okay, and once you've learned the main vocabulary, then we listen to the video, we listen to it again. And you have questions on the vocabulary like before, including a listening exercise and a transcript of the story. So you can easily revise the grammar and vocabulary and pronunciation from each module. And as I said, this week you also get access to the expansion pack where you get a reading comprehension exercise, writing questions, listening dictation exercise, and also some speaking questions that you can use to practice your spoken English. Okay, as I said, we have 12 modules here. We have looked at today, we've looked at the grammar from first 6, reported speech. Yeah, you have reviews as well, reviews at the end, and a final exam here too. That's great. Okay, anyway, this is that's the Brilliant B2 course that we are kind of looking through today, and if you are interested, then this week is the best time to join, uh, until Sunday. You have until Sunday, and just because you are watching this, lesson, you have an extra discount I mentioned earlier. Can I put that on screen here for you? Just make a note. I'll put it in the description too, but it's B2 YouTube, okay? Add that at the checkout, you will get an extra discount. You already have a 50 € discount. If you add that code, you will get an extra discount, just for watching, this video. which is rather nice. Okay. Yes, Yaroslava is here. Hello. You bought the brilliant B2 course this morning. I saw your name come through. Great to have you in the course. I hope you'll love it. I'm sure you will. It is really the course that I am most proud of. I was looking earlier at the course to prepare this, and I thought, wow, it's really, really cool. It's really cool. So this week, if you join this week, you're going to get loads of cool stuff. Let me tell you just quickly. Well, you're going to get all the grammar in depth, all the grammar from this lesson in much more depth with the exercises, which that grammar is used in story, so you can hear it and learn it in context, which is always the best way to kind of internalize grammar. Listening to it, using it, and learning it in a context, in a story. It's such an effective way. And also pronunciation. You cannot learn English without focusing on pronunciation too, and there was lots of that in the course. Okay, so very quickly, you get a 50% discount this week, plus the extra one for using your code. You get a study planner, which helps you go at a slow or medium or fast pace, help you plan your time so that you can not get like overwhelmed with so much to do. It's going to make it very easy to follow a plan and complete the course. The expansion pack, which I mentioned, extra content in each module. You get 1 free month with my clone on an app where you can have very, very quick conversation. It feels like you're talking to me, and I even correct your mistakes. It's like having a little private conversation teacher in your pocket. You get that free for 1 month. You get teacher support in the course. If you have any problems, you can write a message, and either me or my team will reply very quickly. And uh, limited to the first 10 people only, you'll get a personal speaking diagnosis from me. So I will be in touch. I will evaluate your level of English. Okay, I will send you my personalized feedback on where you can improve in terms of grammar and pronunciation to make a big difference to your English. I've also added a 90-day money back guarantee, not 30, but 90. So you have 3 months to try it. I like it. If it's not the right level, tell me and I'll give you a refund. And normally it's 199 without the bonuses. Today it's 100 well, today and this week it's 149 with everything, all the bonuses free. Okay. That ends on Sunday, the 22nd of June. Okay. Um, right. Cool. Let's have a look at one more. Let's have a look at number 7. Okay. One more, and then maybe I'll leave the rest and do them on Sunday. Okay, because I think I don't really want to go more than 2, 2 hours on a live lesson. Okay. Let me remove this. 1 second. Actually, just I had one question about this, from, Luis Vega, who said, "Is this course good, or will it serve you if you are still a beginner?" Um, th thi this B2 level, I have many students who are kind of like a B1, like the level below. Many students in the course who are C1, so the level above, but there is enough in this course. It's explained in a very, very clear way that if you are B1, I think it will be fine. If you watch my YouTube videos and you understand them, I think it will be okay. Okay, I think well, I'm sure it will be okay. I designed it so that it would be okay. If you watch my YouTube videos and you understand them and you learn from them, then you have the level for this. Even if you think your level is a little bit lower, a little bit higher, uh, you will learn plenty, lots in the course. Okay, um, where was I? Number 7, past perfect, present continuous. Okay, for example, past perfect. All right, this is like I had been, or I had lived, or it had rained. And the second one is continuous. It had been raining. Okay, so these are quite specific tenses to know about, but they're very useful in talking about the past. Okay, when do we use each one? Let's have a look here. Okay, basically, when she got to the cinema, you have 2 options here. The film had already started, that's past perfect, or the past perfect continuous, the film had let's remove the word already. Okay, the film had started, or the film had been starting. That's the per that is the past perfect continuous. Before I explain, what do you think is correct? When she got to the cinema, when she arrived at the cinema, the film had already started, or the film had already been starting. All right, Juan José, they had already started. Foyce Christos, Tomás, Emery, had already started. Yeah. Juan Jose says something interesting. The key is the word already. When we use already, it's a great comment because when we use the word already, we usually need a perfect tense. Like I have already eaten. It had already started. It's a great word. Like there are little words. I've got a video on this on like I can't remember the topic. I can't remember the title of the video, but it says the thumbnail, the image says these words have secrets. Absolutely, because there are many little words that we use in sentences, and these little words, like already, tell us if we need a perfect tense or a simple tense. Okay, so yes, the correct answer is when she got to the cinema, the film had already started. Here we're talking about two actions that happened in the past. Okay? 2 actions that happened in the past. One thing happened first, the film started. One thing happened second, she got to the cinema. So to express the fact that one thing happened before, we use had. Okay? We use this past perfect tense. She had the film had started. So we know when she arrived, the film, yeah, she missed the beginning of the film. We use the continuous, past perfect continuous. Uh, for example, let's use the example rain, okay? When she opened the door in the morning, she saw that it had been raining. Similar thing. We're talking about 2 actions. Action number 1, rain, okay? But the continuous action, rain. It is raining. It was raining. It had been raining. We use this tense when that action, that continuous action, which happened before this action, continuous, and stopped when this action happened. Okay, a little bit tricky, um, but let's have a look at it with more examples. Examples are the best way to really see things and explain things and learn things because if not, if it's just a series of rules, it's so much more difficult, abstract idea. So let's have a look at this. He was tired. Why? Well, he was tired because he was running. This is wrong. What's the correct version of this sentence? Hello, Natasha, by the way. Sorry I've called you Christos the whole lesson, but yeah, you're Natasha. Thanks for your participation in this lesson. Thanks, everybody. It's been great. So much, participation. It's been fantastic. It's been fantastic. Fantastic. I'm losing my English. I have to stop this. I have to continue on Sunday. If not, by the end of this lesson, I will need English lessons also. I have to buy my own course. Okay. Juan Jose, he was tired because he had been running. Okay. He had been running. Yeah. He was tired because he had been running. Okay, cool. Everybody seems to be getting this right. He was tired. This is now, well, this is in the past. Okay, he was tired. An action in the past. He was tired because an action further in the past, a continuous action, happened. Okay, running, it's a continuous action. It happened and stopped before this moment that we're talking about here. Okay, he was tired. Why? Because before he had been running. Okay, brilliant. Okay, we've done 7 topics out of 12, and I'm going to do the rest on Sunday. Okay? As I said, this lesson has been, great. I've been doing it for 1 hour, 22 minutes, so I'm gonna have a break, and continue on Sunday. I have some time on Sunday, so I'll do the second part then. In the meantime, if, um, you're interested in that, there is a link in the description. Um, as I said before, you have that limited thing, and if you do want that feedback and that personal diagnosis on your current level of English from me, then there are 10, okay? Only 10 available, less now because people have, um, bought the course today. Okay, I'm just checking my email here. Okay, we have even less. There are, like, 5 left, I think, ish. I need to double check, but, but there you go, yeah. When they are finished, they're finished. So, if you do want it, book today and or tomorrow, and, don't forget to use the extra code for watching and participating in today's video. Okay? B2 YouTube. Enter that at the checkout, and that will give you an extra discount for this fantastic course. Okay. Thanks everyone for watching. Any questions about anything, please leave them in the comments. I love your questions. When I'm planning my videos, normally the first thing I do is I think of what questions people normally ask me. Okay? So, if you have any questions about anything that we have talked about today or any other type of English grammar, then let me know in the comments. All right? And, yeah, Jaroslava says He hope you win the feedback with me. Yeah, you will. You will. You were the first person who bought the course this morning, and I hadn't. I'm going to send you an email with instructions because it wasn't included. Hadn't hadn't done it until after you signed up. I will be in touch with instructions on how to contact me with your spoken English message, and I will can't wait. Yeah, to be in touch with your feedback and help you with your grammar, pronunciation to help you improve. And yeah, enjoy the course. Okay, thanks everyone again for your participation, and I hope you can come on Sunday for part two of this lesson. Bye for now.